Hi everybody. In this video, we're going to take a look at payment processors. You want to get paid, right? Collect money from your customers. Well, this is going to be a quick one. We're going to take a look at what you need to look for in a payment processor and then some options for payment processors. So let's get started. All right, so payment processing. We want to collect money from our customers, right? And to do that, you're probably going to integrate with some kind of payment processor. Now, the most popular payment processor on the internet is Stripe, but there are other options, and we're going to discuss them shortly. Before we do, however, I wanted to discuss 5 things you need to look for in a payment processor. So let's start with transaction fees. Now, I'm going to go and take a look at, we're going to take a look at the Stripe website, and we're going to look at their pricing. You can see here that for every transaction, you pay a percentage of that transaction and a flat fee. In this case, 2.9% and 30 cents, which you may be thinking, well, for microtransactions, maybe I sell something for 50 cents or 99 cents. Well, if 30 cents of that is taken out, that's a pretty significant chunk, right? On top of perhaps other ways that you may be getting dinged by another service. So you got to think, if you're just having a subscription, maybe $15 a month, $10 a month, whatever, maybe this is okay, right? Because 30 cents, not much. But these transaction fees can add up, and that's how Stripe makes their money. That's how every payment processor makes their money. They provide you the platform, and they take a cut. And you'll notice that these are similar across multiple processors. So let's take a look at Braintree. Here, they charge 2.59% and 50 cents per transaction. So the previous one was Stripe, right? 2.9%. Well, 2.59, it's a lot lower, but 50 cents. So you got to do the math. Is it better or is it not? Here's another one. Adyen, right? Adyen, select your country where you're making the sales. And for each different way to pay, for your customer to pay, it's a different price. I mean, these two are the same, right? Because Alipay Plus, but direct debit is 13 cents and 27 cents, so 40 cents. 13 cents and 3.95% for a diner's card. And Discover also, almost 4%. So you have to look at these transaction fees and you have to see what makes sense for your business. Once you know how much you want to charge, maybe you have a subscription that's $15 a month, you can choose the provider that you want. So we covered transaction fees. Payment methods. Let's go back to Adyen and take a quick look. So you can see here, these are all the different payment methods that your customers can pay you with. So again, when picking a provider, you got to focus on the customer. If you're in a country where Apple Pay doesn't exist, Visa is not popular, but I don't know, MasterCard and Maestro are popular, well, you got to make sure that your payment provider not only supports these methods, but also has decent fees that you can live with for those payment methods. So this is Adyen that we're looking at right here, but Braintree, Stripe, so we can see here under, for Braintree, PayPal, Braintree, credit cards, Apple Pay, Google Pay, Samsung Pay, they all have a flat fee that's basically this, and Stripe too. So again, transaction fees and payment methods, I think 2 of the most important things to look for when choosing a payment provider. But that's not all. Tax and VAT support, value-added tax, right? If you're in Europe, we have taxes here in the States. So a payment provider isn't going to do your taxes for you. Unless, well, they're not going to do your taxes for you. But some providers are really good at taxes, like Lemon Squeezy. Now, coincidentally, they were bought by Stripe recently. So one could assume that Stripe will become better at taxes at some point, hopefully. But again, something to look for, right? You collect a lot of money. Some countries require you to pay VAT. You might have to pay. Something to think about also. Unless you're only providing like services in your own country, in which case maybe you don't need to worry about it. Unless you're in the States, in which case each state has certain threshold. It just gets complicated. So think about taxes. Then integration APIs. And this DX means developer experience. This is something not many people think about. But let's say you go to a website and the website says contact sales or contact support. Are you more likely to choose that service? Or are you more likely to choose a service where there's a dedicated developers section that gives you full-on tutorials and API documentation? I mean, that's a rhetorical question. So integration APIs and DX, also important, makes it a lot easier to integrate and therefore collect money from your customers. And lastly, support. This is more like if you need some help, right? If you need help from their help desk or customer support, let's say payment didn't go through or your payout didn't happen or something like that, right? So this is not, I would say most of the time, especially when you're small, you're not going to have a problem with this. But you want to, if you go with a larger payment provider, you're more likely to get better support because they can afford it. So also something to think about. But I would really stress transaction fees and payment methods as the two most important things you got to look for in a payment provider. So now that we've looked at these, let's put that back here. Let's take a look at some providers. So Stripe, we just looked at their website. Is this website here. So they have a lot of products. Payments is what you're going to be kind of looking at. They give you a phenomenal developer experience and a customer experience. It's just, I mean, they've been around for a while. It's really good. It's a bit of a higher fee, 2.9%, but the user experience is really, really good. So you go Stripe, and I just said they bought Lemon Squeezy. See here, Stripe has acquired Lemon Squeezy. Again, Lemon Squeezy part of Stripe. PayPal, who bought Braintree. So PayPal, you probably like maybe sent money to somebody using PayPal before, but they also now have a payment gateway called Braintree, which used to be its own company. I actually integrated with Braintree before. It was pretty good. I don't know how it is now with PayPal, so might have to experiment. And then we have Square. So Square is something you might have seen in a restaurant or some shop. They have like a little white square. You touch your card, or you put your card into it, and you pay. They also have an online payment system that you can use. Adyen, we also just looked at. That's going to be this one here. So that's Adyen. And there are other ones. ChargeBee and Recurly are okay. They have a little bit higher fees. And then Paddle and Revenue Cat are relatively small. But also, again, also good options. But again, look at these and see which one matches your business. These are just 8 options here, but there are others. Just Google it. You'll find a lot of others. I was just giving you some suggestions. Now, you may be already thinking, well, if if you were implementing something, which one would you use, right? Stripe. But that's because I'm not like the 2.9 plus 30 cents doesn't bother me. And their developer experience is really, really good. But Paddle is actually also pretty good developer experience, but their fees are a little bit higher. And I'm not exactly sure, but again, these are business considerations, right? So you're dealing with money. You care about the cut that the company takes. If I were building a new SaaS application today and I was collecting subscription fees for my SaaS, I would integrate with Stripe because it's just easy to do. Of course, I would abstract it, right, behind some kind of an interface. And then later, if I wanted to switch to a different provider, I wouldn't have to rewrite my application. I would just swap Stripe out for a different provider behind the interface and, be good to go. So that's payment processing in a nutshell. Pretty straightforward. Again, transaction fees, payment methods, most important. Taxes, also important. So don't skimp on these. And then integration and support, I would say, are like tertiary. But if the integration experience is really good, such as Stripes or Braintrees, or which one was it? Or Paddles, it's going to be a lot faster to implement. So you're going to make money faster that way. So that's all I got for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.